Biden just suffered a humiliating defeat as the White House withdraws its COVID vaccine mandate for private employers after the Supreme Court killed the mandate. Hey guys, gals, and pals, Mr. Obvious here. And today, we're going to talk about several key failures of Western governments right now, especially in regards to COVID, and huge protests going on. In Canada, there's a huge convoy of Canadian truckers, and they are protesting vaccine mandates. This has been going on for a while, and the movement is only growing bigger. In fact, even American truckers are joining the fray. At the same time, the US stock market is seeing some pretty devastating swings, losing over 1,000 points on the Dow Jones. The markets aren't doing very good right now because of inflation, high gas prices, and of course, the Federal Reserve having to raise interest rates. It's a little bit complicated. I won't get into it, but needless to say, the Democrats and Biden are running everything into the ground. At the same time, we're on the verge of like World War III as, the situation in Ukraine gets worse and worse. So folks, we got a lot to talk about today. There's a few key stories here that I think you need to see. But before we do, remember to smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell icon for updates for future content, and if you like the videos that I make, please share them with your family and friends. Folks, let's just get right to it. You know, I've been away from YouTube lately, been dealing with my own health problems, my own personal struggles, but I've been watching the world pass by, and it seems like every single day, there's a worse and worse headline. But let's talk about this story first. So here the story says that President Joe Biden was forced to come to terms with his humiliating loss in the Supreme Court on Tuesday, when his administration formally buried its highly controversial vaccine rule for private businesses with at least 100 employees. Now, there's a lot of people who are laughing at Joe Biden right now, saying that he's been humiliated, that he's failed, that the Supreme Court has struck down his tyrannical mandates. Other people who are perhaps a little bit more cynical, and this is where I tend to think that Joe Biden already got what he wanted, right? The Democrats and Biden and the government, they wanted everyone to get vaccinated. They wanted to force people to get vaccinated. And by passing these mandates, even though the judges said time and time again, you can't do this, Biden, this is not within your power as president, well, they just did it anyway. How many companies do you think complied with this ridiculous mandate? Many of them. Many people, and I've heard these stories, were forced to get vaccinated. And is it any wonder that Biden's approval rating is like, we've been talking about this for a while, but his approval rating hit 39% on Tuesday. This is a new low, according to a Harvard/CAPS Harris poll. He's in the gutter. This is the lowest approval rating, and it's not even been a full term. Wow. So, as many of you have probably heard, the FDA is currently taking away treatments for COVID, including monoclonal antibody. And they also banned, I believe, Regeneron. Yeah, so here we have this following headline. The FDA is accused of trying to force Americans to get vaccinated after asinine decision to limit the use of COVID antibody treatments because they don't work against Omicron, even though they do work against Delta. This is one of the scariest and probably stupidest things that I've seen. The Food and Drug Administration has essentially banned or unauthorized the use of treatments like Regeneron and monoclonal antibodies to treat COVID. Their claim is that these treatments have not been proven to be effective on Omicron. Why? Why would you ban so far what appear to be effective treatment options for doctors? Well, the cynic in me would think that the reason is they don't want people to get better. I mean, it's bad for business, isn't it? If your entire goal is to just get everyone all these vaccines and all these shots, well, you wouldn't want an alternative treatment. That seems to be the theory among critics. Personally, I think it's just sheer incompetence. Who the hell are you to tell people that they can't get effective treatments from doctors if the doctor thinks it's a good option? But that's what they're doing. It's insane. The FDA noted in its decision on Monday that Omicron accounts for more than 99% of US infections, making it highly unlikely that antibodies would help for people now seeking treatment. And they're saying it's to avoid side effects. Listen, I'm going to make this very simple. Highly unlikely. Does that mean 0%? Not effective? No. Highly unlikely, folks, is not for sure. So you could be banning these treatments from people who actually need them. But there you go. It reminds me of another terrible story I heard. Look at the following story. Boston hospital removes dying father of 2, 31 years old, from the top of the heart transplant list because he's not vaccinated. They're gonna let this guy die, this father, because he didn't get the vaccine. Here it says, father of 2, DJ Ferguson, 31 years old, has been taken off the donor list for a life-saving heart transplant because he hasn't gotten vaccinated against COVID-19. Boston Brigham and Women's Hospital said their aim is to create both the best chance for a successful operation and the patient's survival after transplantation. They're saying that being unvaccinated makes him a risk, so they're gonna let him die. There you go, folks. If there's one thing that this vaccine has exposed, it's just the sheer depth of human evil. The idea that you would let people die just because they didn't do what you wanted them to do against their own will. Right, we're not even talking like, sir, can you please wear a seatbelt? Right, we're not talking about seatbelts. We're talking about an invasive medical procedure. Putting on a seatbelt isn't going to hurt a person. It cannot hurt a person. There are no side effects to seatbelts, except maybe, I don't know, like you get in a crash and it tightens and you get a little bruise. But that's not a side effect. There's no health risk to wearing a seatbelt. Vaccines are different because every body is different, right? Some people may have adverse reactions, some people may have allergies, some people may be too risky. They might have a compromised immune system. They might not be able to get the vaccine. But you're going to take away this guy's heart. It's sheer evil. It's evil. These people, there need to be lawsuits, man. There need to be lawsuits. This is ridiculous. You know, Biden with his mandates, these people. I think we're all sick of being treated like animals, like sheep. But there you go. But people aren't taking this lying down. There's currently the Freedom Convoy. It's a bunch of truckers who are protesting against mandates, saying, we're not going to deliver your goods until you stop with the mandates. You're going to stop with the mandates. This has been going on for like a month now, I believe, or at least a month, and it's not going to stop. In fact, more and more people are joining, and it is a full-blown movement. So let's talk about Biden's approval rating. I'm sorry, folks. This is like the first pleasant news I've read in a while. Biden's approval rating hits a dire 39%, as a majority of Americans say he's not a strong leader and don't think he cares about them, according to new polls by Harvard and CAPS. So, yeah, he's not doing very good. 39% approval. I mean, wow. How pathetic do you have to be as a president to only have 39% approval? More than half the country hates your guts because you've been a lousy president. You are actively destroying the economy. And there was a big fuss about a recent story where Biden cussed out a Fox News reporter because he was the Fox News reporter asked him about inflation, and then Biden called him a stupid SOB. Who's the stupid one, though, right? Is it the reporter asking about inflation? Or is it the incompetent buffoon who can barely talk straight, the one who's running this country into the ground? His disapproval rating has climbed to 53%. So maybe there's a silver lining on all this. There's the protests going on. Biden just pulled his vaccine mandate. The stock market is somewhat recovering, though it's still struggling. And we may be on the verge of World War III, but so far nothing has happened. So maybe at the end of the day, we should just hope for the best. The midterms are coming up, 2022. If we can get back the House, America might be in a better place. Last story of the day, Pelosi announces re-election bid ahead of the 2020 midterms. So here's what happened. Previously, Nancy Pelosi said she was going to retire. She was done being the leader of the House. But now all of a sudden she's announcing a re-election campaign. She wants to run again and be leader of the House. You know what this sounds like to me, my friends? It sounds like desperation. I think the Democrats know that because of Biden's absolute failures and his humiliations and his low approval, the Democrats are in big trouble. And we've been saying this. The midterms are going to be a bloodbath. People are seeing this stuff. They've seen the tyranny. They've seen the reaction to COVID, cracking down on people's skulls, saying, you should die because you didn't get the vax. They have seen the tyranny, people being discriminated against. And you know what? I think they're going to get wiped the F out. So Nancy Pelosi is desperate to hold control of the House, so she wants to run again. She wants to help the Democrats keep the House. I don't think it's going to work. The midterms are coming. And by God, I think that a reckoning is well overdue. But that, my friends, is merely the obvious. Well, that's all for now, folks. What do you think about this story? Let me know by commenting down below in the comment section. As always, support the channel by joining me on Patreon or Subscribestar. As this channel is not monetized, it is supported by viewers like you. You can also check out my affiliate, Webull. Get 2 free stocks when you open an account and deposit any amount of money, and those stocks could be worth up to $1,000. Anyways, you can find all of that down below in the description. Have a nice day, folks. I'm gonna try to just come back. It's been hard, I'm not gonna lie. But have a good one, folks. I'll see you all next time.